Hi there, Ben here from G4 Guitar. In this lesson we're going to talk about tuning the guitar. Alright, so this is quite a challenging thing to do, which takes a lot of practice, and it will take some time, okay, especially when starting out, because at the moment your ears are not trained. Alright, so this takes practice, and an advanced guitarist can actually tune a guitar just purely with their ear. But the good news is we have lots of different tools at our disposal as an assistant. Traditionally, I think they use like tuning forks. I'm not sure if you've ever seen one of those, but they just basically usually play at an A note, and then you could use that as a reference to tune the rest of the guitar. So anyway, and they have all sorts of different things, but these days, obviously we're lucky with today's technology, there's lots of new things that we can use to help. So what I like to use is one of these things, as a clip-on, onto the end of the guitar. I find them to be, the most accurate I've found so far. There's all sorts of ones. You can get ones that are built into the guitar, and apps on your smartphone. They're probably the most popular ones that are used today. So basically, what I want to start with though is obviously the idea of making sure that you understand what the strings, each one of these strings, what their note names are. Okay, so their note names, and there's quite a few different sayings to remember what the note names are for each one of the strings, because it's E, B, G, D, A and E. Obviously that can be a difficult thing to remember, so just for the sake of this lesson, and the one that I mostly teach is this one, starting from our first string, the highest sounding string. Easter bunny goes driving at Easter. Okay, Easter bunny goes driving at Easter. So each word is one of these individual strings, from the first string through to the sixth string. Alright, so now that we know which note each one of the strings is, the next challenge is to get each one of those strings in tune to that note. Alright, so what I'm going to mainly talk about is a clip-on tuner, but this is relevant as well for any type of tuner. We're going to start, some of them as well, you'll have what's called the Hertz on there. You'll see hopefully you'll see a 440 symbol. I'm not sure if you can see it on there. It says 440. Probably not, but anyway, so you want to make sure it's on that. So go muck around with your tuner until you can work out how to adjust the frequency on there, 440 Hertz. And so that once that's on there, we're not going to talk about why there's all different other frequencies, but for now we just want it on 440. All right, so that's important. So the next thing is we want to make sure that we know, obviously, that's the first string, that's the second string, third string, fourth, fifth and sixth. Okay, and we know what their note names are. So I'm going over this because it's easy to forget. So we're going to start, for some reason I always like to start with my first string. So I'm picking that now, and on my tuner you'll see it's going green, hopefully. Near enough to anyway. What's going to happen when you pick the guitar, it may, depending on how hard that you pick the string, it might sort of wave in and out of the tuning, so it's not going to be 100, spot on. So you just got to sort of work on the averages of making sure that it's in tune. And just on my tuner as well, and this may not necessarily be for all tuners, but it's underneath. It's showing me a couple of things. It's showing me that it's an E, which is good. and underneath it it's got a little number 1 for which represents the first string. Okay, so they're two really key points that you need on your tuner, that you're playing the first string and it's an E. So on a side note, we also want to, on some guitar tuners, they'll have what's called modes. All right, so they might be a multi-instrumental tuner. So they might have, so from my own example, has G for guitar, U for ukulele, C for chromatic, so it's picking up each one of the notes. And might have B for bass, and V, mine's got V on it for violin, so there's quite a few things on there. Alright, so I'm just gonna keep mine on C for the purpose of this, but G is a really good one obviously because it's the guitar, so it's only gonna tell you about what string, the strings that are on the guitar and whether you need to go higher or lower. So in the, what's called the musical alphabet, there's only 7 letters. A through to G. So say if I wanted to just start with my first string here, which is my E, it's in high E, so we make sure that our tuner says he's in the correct mode. So if it's lower, we want to just obviously tighten the string, and you work out, I'm pretty sure it goes in clockwise for tightening and anti-clockwise to loosen, or make it lower. So we want to match it up. If the problem can be sometimes if it's way out of whack, it'll start picking it up, possibly picking up as maybe your second string if it's too low. So you want to be conscious of that as well, and always sort of refer back to your musical alphabet as well. Say if it starts picking up as a D note, obviously D's before E, so you want to, obviously it's too low, so we want to bring it up. But if it starts saying something like F, then obviously we want to bring it back. Okay, so as I said from the start, this takes a bit of practice, so be patient, and you know, even if you get a guitar teacher or something, that they can tune it for you, but for now this is probably a good place to start. Alright, so we've got E, then my second one is B, second string is B, so you want to make sure that that's in tune until it says green on your phone or your tuner. And then we've got G, you want to make sure that's in. Mine's a little low, so and these are really, really small, very small movements on my guitar. I think on the nylon string actually it's a little bit more forgiving, because I think the strings, especially nylon strings, are a little bit more, have a bit more elasticity in them, so it might take a little bit more to adjust those ones. Alright, so then we've got our fourth string here, which is the D. Mine's in tune. Then we've got our fifth string, which is A. Needs a lift to come up a little bit. So in music theory, you've got sharp means higher and flat means lower. So there's some terminologies for you, so you'll be able to, you know, say that to your friends or whatever, and make yourself look like you know what you're talking about. Alright, so we've got this one, A's gone a little sharp, so we want to pull it back. On a side note as well, it's a good idea to what we call tune up to the note as well, and that gives the correct amount of, it gives good tension on the string, so it doesn't, when you start to play it, it doesn't sort of go back or start to loosen. So it's always good to go just before the note and then pull up to the note. And again, that will take some time and some practice. So that's tuning the wrong key there. And then we got the last string, the sixth string here. That's a little flat, so we're pulling that up to the E, and I've got a green there. So what I'll also do, so that's basic tuning of the guitar using one of these tuners. Now to do it by ear, there's a whole heap, a different technique that we use, and that's something that, you know, you probably want to look at when you get to the next level of maybe an intermediate guitar, and that's where we start to use parts of the guitar to tune it. Alright, so hopefully that's helped and give you a few tips on how to tune your guitar. And I'll also have a list of tuners that I recommend. There's all different types of tuners in the market, but I'll have a list below me of the ones that I recommend that I think that are good, that are roadworthy, and I've used touring and all that sort of thing. So I hope you enjoyed my lesson on tuning the guitar. Thank you.